Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Dr. Mahamuda Begum, Head Department of Anatomy at the Women's Medical College, Mogbazar, Dhaka. At first, pray to Allah saving us from coronavirus, and my kind request we should maintain our personal protective measure with heart and soul. Alhamdulillah. At the Women's Medical College start online teaching. I would like to discuss about the most important part of developmental anatomy, first week of development, because understanding the spatial and temporal developing process that occurs within the embryo as it develops from a single cell into a recognizable human is the challenge of embryology. For purpose of embryological study, the whole embryonic period is divided into 3 stages. First is the germinal period. It extends from first week to third week. In this period, 3 germ layer is laid down. Second is the embryonic period, which extends from end of the third week to 8 weeks. It is also known period of organogenesis because more or less all organs are developed in this period. So it is the most critical period in the development. Third is the fetal period. It extends from the 9th week to birth. In this period, only growth and development is occur. First week is the part of germinal period. What are the objectives of this discussion? I hope after complete my presentation, my dear student should have an understanding the different problems and problems like what is ovulations and its clinical correlations, how a physician can diagnose the woman is ovulatory, what is corpus luteum, how it is formed and its importance, functions, what is fertilization, what are the phase, result, and what are the changes occur of the oocyte and sperm during these fertilizations, and how the blastocyst form and why it is implanted. What are the components of first week of development? This figure showing the different. This is the ovulation. This mature Graafian follicle is rupture and ovum is discharged. They can enter the fallopian tube by the fimbria of fallopian tube, and after that they enter the most dilated part of the tube. This is the fertilizations with sperm. Then it is undergoes series of mitotic cell division, that is cleavage occur, and ultimately they form a morula. This morula is modified the cell known as the blastocyst. This blastocyst can embedding in the functional layer of the endometrial implantation. So ovulation, fertilization, cleavage, blastocyst formation and implantation. This is the component of first week of development. Before starting the individual component or events, we should mention the reproductive organ, actually the female reproductive organ, which are responsible for these events. So this is the exterior to interior, this is the vagina, and this is responsible for transport or deposited the sperm, and after that they goes through the cervix, uterus. So these are the uterus and cervix. This is the responsible for the blastocyst and implantation, and that is the fallopian tube. This is responsible for fertilization and cleavage, and these are the ovary from where the ovulation occur, and discharge the secondary oocyte and then enter the fallopian tube. This is the reproductive organ. Now, what are the special cells are engaged in this process? They are two cells. One comes from the male partner. This is the mature male gamete known as the sperm, and the mature female gamete known as the ovum. Ovulations. Before ovulations, this figure, this is the figure they can showing the ovulation. This is the ovary. This is the ovary. The ovary have the two parts structurally: outer cortex, inner medulla. The cortex contains different stages of ovarian follicle with oocyte. Every ovarian cycle, the 19 to 20 oocytes, ovarian follicle with oocyte undergoes the maturation, but only one is fully mature, and this mature follicle contains the secondary oocyte in the metaphase 2, and these are the surrounding by the, this is the red color, zona pellucida, and these are the antrum to contain the fluid, and when these are the surface of the ovary. At the time of the ovulations, the Graafian follicle, mature Graafian follicle, close to the surface, and this surface gradually avascular and known as the stigma. And the hormone, during the hormone is responsible, luteinizing hormone is a surge, and there is a rupture this surface at the site of a stigma. So secondary oocyte in metaphase in condition, they can discharge actually in the peritoneal cavity, but the fluid which is present in the antrum, this is the chemoattractive, and the fimea is attractive to the oocyte. They can catch the oocyte and they enter in the fallopian tube. The rhythmical contraction of the fallopian tube, the oocyte gradually goes to the most dilated part of the uterine tube, the ampulla. So this is the ovulations. So by definition, what is ovulation? Actually, ovulation is the process. By definition, the ovulation is the process. The process when the surface and Graafian follicle is ruptured. After ruptured, the secondary oocyte in metaphase discharges in the peritoneal cavity, surrounded by zona pellucida and granulosa cell. So there is a process: rupture, discharge, and surrounded by the ovum. These are the three conditions: oocyte, secondary oocyte, metaphase stage, surrounded by the zona pellucida and the granulosa cell, and discharge from the ovary. But so the rupture of the ovary is the surface at the site of a stigma. So these are the ovulation, the mechanism. First is the stigma, then it is rupture, then it is rupture also Graafian follicles. Where the oocyte is ruptured, discharged, actually it is the discharge of the fallopian peritoneal cavity. But the fluid within the antrum of the Graafian follicle, which is chemoattractive, and it attracts the fimea of the fallopian tube. At that ovulation, the all fimea is close to the ovary, and they can catch the ovum and enter the fallopian tube. And their rhythmical contraction, it enter to the most dilated part, fallopian ampulla. So this is the ovulations. How the physician can diagnose the female is in ovulatory. There is some sign like this. There is sign of the middle pain. Middle pain, actually the middle of the menstrual cycle, the lower abdominal pain, slight lower abdominal pain. There is a body temperature is increased, and also the mammary gland is tender. This is the simple symptom or signs they can diagnose. The physician can diagnose the lady is in ovulatory. So ovulation is complete, and what the result after that ovulations? The fate of the Graafian follicle which are present in the ovary. So this figure shows this is the pre-ovulatory mature Graafian follicle. This is the stigma, and there is a rupture. This is the discharge. So okay, ovulation is complete, but this structure is left in the ovary, in the cortical region of the. What happened? What are the fate of this structure? First, these are the Graafian follicle. We know there is the inner granulosa cell. Outside there is a thecal, inner thecal and outer thecal cell. These cells are modified, more vascularized by the vessels, and they becomes in the yellowish in color. The structure known as the corpus luteum, and the cell is known as the luteal cell. The corpus luteum and there is a luteal cell, the luteal cell, they form, but they secrete mainly the hormone progesterone, and this structure is formed by the influence of the hormone known as the luteal hormone, which comes from the pituitary gland. So corpus luteum formed after ovulation. So what are the fate of the corpus luteum? Corpus luteum have the two fate, and it is depend conditions the oocyte is fertilized or not. So the fate is the corpus luteum of pregnancy and corpus albicans. If the corpus luteum, if the oocyte is fertilized, the corpus luteum gradually increase in size. Degeneration is prevented by a hormone known as the human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. This hormone comes from the syncytotrophoblast of the developing embryo, and this corpus luteum of pregnancy can increase the size about half or 1/3 of size of the ovary, and this corpus luteum of pregnancy maintain their secretion progesterone up to the 4th month of development. After that, the placenta is developed, and this function can undergo the placenta. If oocyte does not fertilize, what happens? The corpus luteum gradually decrease in size, and ultimately they form a mass, fibrous scar tissue, and their secretion ceases. So ultimately there is a culminating in the menstrual bleeding. So this is the end of my class. My next class topics is fertilization, cleavage, and onward. Thank you all, and Allah bless all of my students. Allah Hafiz.